Hey everyone! I thought I might do something a little different today and walk you through my process for culling my photos. So I took these shots Monday evening and I ended up taking over 20 because I was just having such a hard time deciding which composition I liked best. So in the video to follow, I'm going to show you how I culled them out and ended up deciding on my final shot. So this is the sidewalk in front of my house, and these little daffodils are in my neighbor's front yard, and I just think they're so cute the way they grow in a big clump by the sidewalk. And it was daylight savings time, so we had a little more time in the evening, and the light was so pretty. So that was definitely a factor in why I was taking these shots to start with. I also like the way that the sidewalk kind of creates a nice leading line. So I played around with that in my different shots as well. So let's just go through these and I'll talk about them and decide if I want to call it out or not. So this first shot was just pulled back, mostly just for demonstration purposes for this video, but I definitely don't want to keep this photo. It's just too big, there's just too much going on. I don't really like the angle in here, so I'm just going to use the arrow key, the right arrow key on my keyboard, and I'm not going to select P on my keyboard. So this one will definitely be one that's not picked. This one I like a little bit better. I like how it's zoomed in a little tighter, and I like this line here, it's sort of diagonal line. And I also like the way that it's created this little bokeh effect here in the sidewalk, the way the light sparkles. I think that's really pretty. I also like the shadow here. But I took a couple of different shots in this angle, and I think I like this one the best. So I'm going to go ahead and select P on my keyboard, which is going to pick this photo. And right now I'm just culling these out, just looking for focus, looking for good composition. I'll fine tune it here a little more as I go on. I tried this vertical orientation, and this one obviously is way too crooked. I don't really care for that one. I don't hate this. It's crooked. I mean, I can straighten it up, but I don't know. I'm just not sure if I like it that much. Just going left and right here. I think I like this one the best out of all of that series, so I'm going to go ahead and select P for that one. And this one, I sort of like this perspective, and I like this composition, but you can see here this main area of photos isn't in, or flowers isn't in focus, so I think I've got a couple more. Maybe I'll catch a little better focus on it. So here's one where the focus is a little bit better, and then once again the focus is a little bit better on both of these as well. But I like this. I'm going to go ahead and put P, and I like this one too, so I'll go ahead and pick that as well, and I'll just come back and look at them a little bit closer. This is an even closer shot, and I've got my focal point selected on this one, and I like that one. There's just something about the pulled back shot I think I like a little better. I'll go ahead and pick that though, maybe fine tune it. Here is basically the same shot, but this one I increased the exposure quite a bit. I actually like the darker exposure versus the brighter one. I like the shadows in the foreground a little bit more. And another vertical orientation. I don't really care for how that turned out, and I'm not too crazy about those either. I liked this little flower. I loved its little droopy head, but I didn't get good focus on that, so I'm definitely not going to pick that one. This is cropped in just a bit more. I'm just not super crazy about that one, but I do like this one, so I'll go ahead and pick that one. Once again, it's really bright. I just don't care for that brighter exposure quite as much. Once again, here is that little droopy one. I took a couple shots. I like this pulled out shot a little bit better, so that you can see where it's actually coming up from the ground, and I like this little twisted leaf. I just think that's such a cool shape, so definitely pick that one. And I like the horizontal aspect, or the horizontal composition, better than the vertical one. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and hit G on my keyboard, and I'm going to go ahead and filter here for my unflagged photos, and I'm going to do Control A on my keyboard. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and pick that one. Oops, I've got unflagged photo. Now let me come back and select my unflagged photos again. Oh my gosh, I ended up picking them all. Oh goodness, that's just how it goes sometimes. Undo set flag. There we go. I had these all selected. That's why it put the flag on all of them. So this is the one that I want to flag. So now here are my unflagged photos, and I'm going to do Control A on my keyboard, hit delete, and delete from the disk. So now I can come back to my filter, take off the unflagged photos, and here you can see these were the photos that I flagged in my original pass-through. So I definitely like the horizontal photos. I'm actually going to go ahead and unflag this one. I definitely like the horizontal photos in this. And I like this photo. This is one of the first ones that I took. But I think it's just, there's too much sidewalk. I think I don't like that much sidewalk. I like the line from the sidewalk. I just don't care for so much sidewalk in the foreground. And I also like, you can see this next group of four, they're all pretty similar. So the main, let me just use the plus key and I'll just make these a little bit larger here. The main difference in this set of four is basically this one is pulled back a little bit. And I definitely like how the shot looks with the clump at the left hand corner. See, here's a little bit of space. I mean, I know this is real specific kind of stuff, but I just sort of like the idea of, you know, this row of daffodils kind of coming in from the left. Here there's just this hard and fast, here's where they start and here's where they stop. But I sort of like the idea of, you know, they're coming in from this left side. So I'm going to unflag this one now. And then let me go ahead and just filter for the ones that are flagged. So I'm going to unflag that one. So these all then are ones with the daffodils coming in from the left hand side. This one is just a little too zoomed in, so I'm going to unflag that guy. I love this shot, but when I was taking the photo, what I really loved was that great line from the sidewalk. I just thought that was such a neat compositional feature. I love this shot. I love this sweet little head. I'm definitely going to keep that, but for the story that I wanted to tell, which is the beautiful light coming in and the way the shadows were on the sidewalk and just that great line, it's not the shot that I want for the story that I'm trying to tell. So definitely going to save that one, come back to it, but I think it's between these three. And it looks like these two are pretty much the same shot, just a little bit different composition. It looks like if I come here is my focal point on this shot, and I don't know. I just think I like this one the best. I mean, I can't give you a particular reason other than I just love the twinkles on the sidewalk, and I love that line, and I sort of like the white space in the back because it's just, you know, it was just a beautiful, cool, nice evening. So I think I'm going to go with that shot, and this will be the shot that I go ahead and develop in the develop module. So I'm going to click D on my keyboard to take me to the develop module, and the first thing I'm going to do is select my lens correction here, and I shot this with my 50mm 1.2 lens. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come here and I'm just going to crop my shot just a little bit. Do you see this little bit of white space along the house down the street? I just think that little bit of white space is kind of distracting. So I'm just going to crop it in a little bit here, and then maybe just a little more from the top. And that way it kind of lines up this little clump right here where my focal point is, kind of lines that up with the rule of thirds. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter to accept that crop. And so next I'm going to click on this Spring 2018. It's just a little preset that I've played around with, and it just adds some clarity and vibrance, and then in the tone curve, just a little bit of a matte tone curve here, a little bit of split toning, and then just some basic sharpening. I can mask off a little bit for that sharpening, holding down the Alt key and using this masking slider. So yeah, I think that'll work. Yeah, I really like this. So I am definitely going to go into my lens correction panel though, and I'm going to remove chromatic aberrations, and I'm going to have to come over here in the manual area to work on that a little bit. If I zoom in really tight up here, chromatic aberration is something that happens a lot when you're shooting with backlight, with strong backlight, and some lenses are more prone to it than others. This lens happens to be one, but I can, using this little picker here, I can come and I can pick this green color, and it went ahead and it found the hue and an amount, and just took that out of my photo. So if I say done, and oh gosh, oh Lord, here we go. Sorry guys. Let me go ahead and zoom that back out. Now you can see it removed most of that from that area right there, and I can live with the rest of it. The last thing I think I'm going to do is come down into the vignette, because you can see up here there's a lot of bright white highlight, and I think that if I come over here and preserve a little bit of the highlight in my shot, in my post-crop vignetting, I might add just a touch more vignette, especially sort of in this bottom. I like these kind of shadowy, this is naturally sort of shadowed in the photo. This is where the light wasn't falling, so I like kind of enhancing that shadowy area in the photo. I'm going to go ahead and feather this out quite a bit though, and then I might also, if I come up here to my amount, and I'm going to make it really strong just so that you can see how this works with the midpoint. By adjusting the slider, I can make the midpoint a little bit larger or smaller. So if by moving the slider to the left, I'm sort of concentrating the vignette sort of around this area. Obviously that's way too much, but I think I want to like pull in that vignette just a little bit. So I'm going to back way off here, come back to a little more subtle effect. Maybe even, I mean, this is all just super specific stuff here. It's just playing around, but yeah, I think that looks really great. I just love the light, and I love the rich green color, and I love the way this sidewalk kind of sparkles. So anyway, that is my process from going from 24 photos to kind of narrowing it down to 3 or 4 that I like, and then selecting a final shot that I liked best. So as always, if you have any questions, just leave me a comment and I'll be sure and get back to you. And as always, thanks for letting me share my love of photography and Lightroom with you.